I'm painfully aware that these talks I'm doing could become incredibly boring for people, but I'm just trusting the Holy Spirit. There'll be one or two of you at least who can catch on to my heart in all this and glean some wisdom, or catch a vision even of what a small group in your community could do to turn things around within your church, and particularly a leadership team, or should we say a servant core team, that can begin to become accountable to each other, more transparent, and be, if you like, a catalyst for change, for good, for bringing people into pastoral relationship with their parish church. Perhaps people have never thought of church as being a nurturing place, but rather just a place of worship. But as a community, the parish is the place of nurture, strength, consolation, love, mercy, forgiveness, compassion, all these things working together to build up the lives of people within the domestic church, which of course is our home and our families. With that, let's turn to the scriptures. Jesus, in the book of Luke, the Gospel of Luke, Jesus had already disciples around him, but in chapter 6, verse 12, we read that it was at this time that he, Jesus, went off to the mountain to pray, and he spent the whole night in prayer to God. Verse 13, and when day came, he called his disciples to him. No, he already had disciples around him, but he chose 12 of them. He called his disciples to him and chose 12 of them, whom he also named as apostles. Simon, whom he also named Peter, Andrew, his brother, James and John, Philip and Bartholomew, Matthew and Thomas, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon, who was called the Zealot. I'd love to have met Simon. Judas the son of James, and last of all, Judas Iscariot, who became a traitor. You know, I sometimes think that night of prayer, I wonder, I'd love to hear what Jesus was praying to the Father. I wonder if he was saying, Lord, do I have to have Judas Iscariot? He's following me, he's a disciple, but he's going to betray me. He's, you know, there's something within him that's not right. Do I have to have him along as well on the inner circle? I don't know, that's just speculation. But it just shows that team building does have hazards. You can't always guarantee. In fact, there's no such thing as the perfect team. So team building carries risk, and you need to learn how to manage risk and how to deal with situations that are unpleasant. And so, you know, it takes authenticity. This is really the key. Authenticity and humility. But the fact that Jesus had a team within the wider community, I mean, another point in the Gospels, we hear about the 60 being sent out to heal the sick and to go into the villages and proclaim the kingdom. And so there was more than 12 disciples, but there were 12 called out ones called apostles. Now, I'm not suggesting that your team is going to be called apostles. Come on, please, let's get real about this. We just want to be servants to the Lord. And on that note of servanthood, it would behoove us to look at a couple of scriptures here. Galatians chapter 5 verse 13. So we have to lay some kind of a scriptural foundation here before we move on. Galatians 5:13. Here we go. For you were called to freedom, brethren, only do not turn your freedom into an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another. For the whole law is fulfilled in one word, in the statement, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Servanthood is the key to leadership, and leadership ideally takes place within a core team concept. So let's look in the next teaching a little bit more about how to build and what comprises a core team within a parish setting, or within, in our case, a charismatic prayer group setting.